In a small village in India, a humble family lives a simple, steady life. The father, Sivanesan, runs a tiny food stall that serves idli, a soft, steamed cake that the whole village is proud of. Every single day, Sivanesan wakes up at 3 a.m. He washes up, prays, then walks through the quiet streets while everyone else is still asleep. And whenever school is on break, his son Murugan goes with him. Murugan watches closely as his father prepares the batter with patience, care, and real love for the craft. Sivanesan makes idli the same way he always has. He grinds the batter by hand using a stone for a full 2 hours, then steams it over a wood fire. The result is soft, savory, and filled with a distinct aroma that nobody else can replicate. Every morning, the stall is packed. People come from all around the village just to eat Sivanesan's idli for breakfast. One of them is Arun, Sivanesan's close friend, who never misses a morning. This is where it all begins. This is Idli Kadai. On the wall of the stall, there is a simple quote from Mahatma Gandhi about peace and non-violence. That message becomes Sivanesan's way of life. He believes problems are never truly solved through anger, only through calmness and compassion. And that is the lesson he wants to pass down to his son. As time goes on, Murugan grows up. Watching his father work day after day inspires him to study culinary arts. Then one day, Murugan comes home with a surprise, an automatic grinding machine. He wants to ease his father's workload, and this machine can do the job in just 5 minutes. At first, it seems like the perfect upgrade, but once the batter is steamed and tasted, his mother Kasturi immediately senses something is off. Sivanesan agrees. He tries to explain it gently, making sure his son does not take it the wrong way. In his eyes, a machine can do many things, but it cannot replace the human touch. Murugan, though, sees it differently. To him, the world has changed. If they want to move forward, the stall should grow into something bigger, expanding into major cities. He even has investors ready to fund modern branches. But his father refuses. Sivanesan believes that if the idli is made elsewhere by other hands, then it is no longer truly his stall, and he refuses to mislead customers with a name that no longer matches the heart behind it. That clash of beliefs leaves Murugan deeply disappointed, so he decides to leave the village and chase success on his own terms. Before Murugan goes, Sivanesan reminds him not to forget their small stall, and he speaks with a kind of certainty, saying that even after he is gone, he will never truly leave the village. Years pass quickly after that. Murugan builds a new life far away, far from the familiar steam and warmth that used to fill his mornings. Now, he is a manager at a 5-star hotel in Bangkok, Thailand. He is also engaged to Mira, the daughter of the company owner. And the biggest part is this: their wedding is scheduled to happen in just 2 weeks. Behind all of this stands Murugan's future father-in-law, Patel, a powerful Indian businessman with wide influence in the country. Not long after, 2 police officers arrive with troubling news. Patel's son, Ashwin, who is also Mira's younger brother, has been caught gambling with his friends. But Ashwin and Patel treat the situation lightly. For men with power and wealth, money has always been enough to make problems disappear. In that moment, Patel compares Ashwin to Murugan. To him, Murugan is living proof that hard work and patience can replace anything. He is the one filling the role in the company that should have belonged to Ashwin. When they are alone, Patel finally admits that he has spoiled his son too much. Since his wife passed away, Ashwin has lost his direction. Patel also confesses that he cares more for Ashwin than for Mira, not out of favoritism, but because of his own guilt. Murugan can only remind him that a father should be firm. If Murugan were in Patel's position and caught his child gambling, he would have acted harshly. Patel agrees, yet Ashwin remains his greatest weakness. Even at home, Ashwin is the one who often raises his voice at his own father.
Ashwin.
A few days later, Murugan visits Ashwin's private home. It is filled with luxury cars and even a boxing ring. As soon as Murugan arrives, Ashwin pulls him into the ring. Murugan already senses how this will end, but he goes along with it anyway. Just as expected, Ashwin begins throwing punches without holding back. Murugan becomes the outlet for Ashwin's anger, fueled by years of jealousy from constantly being compared to him.
If you hurt my sister, I'll skin your life.
That same night, a grand party is held. Yet in the middle of all the noise and celebration, Murugan feels empty. There is a strange unease he cannot explain. Deep down, he senses that his father wants him to be married back in their village, following tradition and custom. Suddenly, Murugan receives a call from his mother. He asks whether his father has agreed to the wedding. Instead, his mother gently tells him that his father has passed away. In that instant, Murugan's world completely collapses. Patel offers his condolences, but he also asks Murugan not to misunderstand him. He knows this is a time of grief, yet he insists that the wedding with Mira must not be postponed. All the important guests have already been invited, and the event cannot be cancelled. Mira, with a heavy heart, apologizes for not being able to go to the village herself. Instead, she sends a trusted man named Ramarajan to accompany Murugan home and make sure everything goes smoothly. Back in the village, the air is already thick with sorrow. When Murugan arrives, he can only stare at the small stall where his father used to work. Inside the house, he sees his father lying still. People are crying, his mother stands frozen in silence, and Murugan himself cannot find any words. Soon after, the local police arrive and urge the family to proceed with the burial. The funeral procession moves toward the cemetery, escorting Sivanesan on his final journey. At the same time, Kasturi, his wife, is caring for a cow that has just given birth to a brown calf. It feels as if the animal has arrived to replace her husband. With firm resolve, Kasturi names the calf Sivanesan, after her late husband. On the other side of the village, there is a young woman named Kayal. She is their neighbor, and for years she has quietly helped Kasturi and the late Sivanesan. Kayal warns Murugan to pay attention to his mother, who has not eaten for 2 days. As she walks away, she grumbles in frustration, upset by how Murugan seems to be neglecting his own parent. That night, Murugan receives a call from Mira, asking about his condition and the situation back home. Mira tries to comfort him and promises to take care of all their wedding preparations. Not long after the call ends, Kasturi suddenly rushes outside. She is trying to wake Sivanesan, worried that he will be late. Seeing this, Murugan gently calms his mother and reminds her that his father is already gone. After she settles down a little, Kasturi asks Murugan to take her to her husband's stall. Once there, she looks around quietly, remembering her younger days when Sivanesan first proposed to her. She recalls how, while she was pregnant with Murugan, she would always see her husband helping his own mother make idli. That grinding stone stands as a witness to how husband and wife once worked side by side, building their simple stall and selling food together. As they prepare to leave, Murugan tries to persuade his mother to come with him, so she will not be alone in the village. But Kasturi refuses. She says she is not alone, because the entire village is her family. At the same time, Ramarajan, who happens to come from a neighboring village, takes the chance to return home. His family welcomes him with tears of joy. His wife and children are overjoyed to see him again. But his mother, now over 90 years old, no longer recognizes him. Age has taken her memories and she no longer remembers her own son. The next morning, Murugan sits quietly in front of the house, lost in thought. As usual, Kayal comes to check on Kasturi, but when she goes inside, she panics. Kasturi does not wake up. She has passed away. In that moment, Murugan is truly alone. Regret floods his mind as memories of his childhood with both parents come rushing back. Meanwhile, Mira is overwhelmed with anxiety. She is afraid Murugan will never return. Her brother Ashwin tries to reassure her. He insists that Murugan would never betray her, and if Murugan really does not come back, Ashwin claims he will personally go and drag him back himself. At the same time, Ramarajan is growing irritated by Mira's constant demands. But Mira refuses to listen. No matter what it takes, Ramarajan must convince Murugan to return immediately. Following her orders, Ramarajan takes Murugan to Sami's stall, located not far from the Idli stall left behind by his father. They talk things over, and Sami knows very well that the Sivanesan family's Idli stall is not just a place to eat. It is a source of pride for the entire village. On Ramarajan's suggestion, Sami plans to buy the stall at a high price so the tradition can continue. But secretly, this is part of Ramarajan's plan, carried out under Mira's instructions, to make Murugan let go of all his ties to the village. Murugan struggles with the decision. Letting go of his father's legacy is not something he can do easily. In his thoughts, images of both his parents appear. Sivanesan looks worried, afraid that after they are gone, the house and stall will disappear forever. But in that same vision, his mother reassures him, believing that one day their son will return to his roots and protect the family's legacy. That day, a formal meeting is held between Murugan and Sami, with the village head present as a witness. On the table lies a complete sales contract, ready to be signed. Murugan begins, but halfway through his signature he stops. He stares at the paper for a long moment. For most of his life, he realizes he never once followed his father's wishes. This time, as a way to make amends, he decides he will not sell the stall. Sami immediately becomes furious, feeling humiliated. Ramanujan quickly steps in to calm the situation, asking Sami not to push any further. He explains that Murugan is simply trying to protect his father's legacy. Back at home, Murugan finds Kayal in a state of anger and frustration. She lashes out, accusing him of having no conscience for even thinking about selling Sivanesan's stall, a place the village treats like a sacred space. With tears in her eyes, Kayal calls Murugan selfish. She reveals that Sami, the man trying to buy the stall, has always been Sivanesan's rival. Sami sells bread, yet his shop is always empty. For years he has been jealous of Sivanesan's success and has tried many times to buy the stall, even offering high prices. Sivanesan always refused. Murugan listens quietly, then calmly explains that he is not selling the stall. He also admits that Kayal is right about one thing. He has been selfish. Hearing this, Kayal's anger slowly fades, replaced by guilt and emotion. Meanwhile, Mira demands an update from Ramanujan. When he tells her that Murugan has canceled the plan to sell his father's stall, she explodes with anger. She questions why Murugan would back out when the buyer was ready to pay a high price. Hearing this, Murugan is shocked. He suddenly realizes how Mira knows all of this, and in that moment, he understands that she has been working behind his back with Ramanujan. Mira refuses to listen to anything else. She insists that Murugan must return immediately because their wedding cannot simply be cancelled. Important guests from many countries have already been invited. For the first time, Murugan loses his patience. He has just lost both of his parents, yet Mira shows no sensitivity, focusing only on the wedding and the celebration. He tries to explain, but she refuses to hear him out. Instead, she pushes him to leave the old house his father left behind, calling it worthless. Those words hit Murugan deeply. As tensions rise, Ashwin suddenly appears. He accuses Murugan of being ungrateful. In his eyes, their family turned Murugan into a billionaire, and now Murugan is betraying Mira. Soon after, Patel steps in with a calmer tone. He asks Murugan to return for the sake of the family's reputation. He does not want the wedding to be called off, knowing the family would become a public joke if it happened. With a quiet apology and firm confidence, Murugan refuses. Kyle feels a sense of relief and happiness, while Mira is left speechless, feeling as if her world has collapsed in an instant. Not long after that, Ramanujan comes to Murugan and offers a sincere apology. He admits that he only got involved because of pressure from Mira. Murugan understands his situation. From that moment on, Ramanujan decides not to return abroad. He is exhausted from living in a foreign country, working non-stop. And when he finally came home, his own mother no longer recognized him. As the days pass, Kyle is always by Murugan's side in the village, even though the small calf named Sivanesan still refuses to be touched by him. Curious, Ramanujan asks who Kyle really is, and why she cares so deeply and works so hard to help Murugan. Murugan explains that Kayal is his childhood friend. They were even young lovers back in middle school. She is also the one who took his place, caring for his parents while he was away. One day, Murugan shops for kitchen supplies. As soon as Ramanujan sees what he bought, he realizes that Murugan plans to reopen his father's Idli stall. Ramanujan joins in, and together they begin restoring the stall just like before, following the habits of the late Sivanesan. Murugan sets an alarm to wake up at 3 a.m. After washing, he walks through the quiet streets toward the stall. Once there, he starts grinding the batter by hand with a stone, just like his father used to. After only 5 minutes, his hands are already aching badly. Only then does he truly realize how heavy his father's struggle once was. Not long after, Kayal arrives to help. They take turns grinding the batter until it is finally done after 2 full hours. The batter is then steamed, and a warm, inviting aroma begins to spread. A few villagers passing by grow curious and stop to taste Murugan's Idli. Arun, a longtime customer, is the first to try it. He pauses for a moment and says it tastes good. Still, from his expression, Murugan can tell something is missing. The next day, they try again. Murugan wakes up even earlier and grinds the batter alongside Kayal and Ramanujan. But once again, the result falls short. The taste is still different. The stall, once lively, slowly becomes quiet again. Then Sami comes by. With an arrogant attitude, he suggests that Murugan stop pretending. In his view, it would be better to sell the stall and let him run it, so Sivanesan's name will not be ruined by Idli that cannot match the original. Hearing this, Murugan says nothing. For For the first time, he feels completely lost. That night, exhausted in his sleep, his late father appears to him. When Murugan becomes aware, he finds himself beside Sivanesan in a calm, gentle place, feeling as if he is being asked whether he has lost his way. Overcome with regret, Murugan realizes that he failed to care for his parents properly while they were alive. Now, he does not even know how to run his father's Idli stall. He has tried many approaches, yet nothing works. Sivanesan responds with a warm smile. Murugan comes to understand that he does not need to search anywhere else because all the answers are already within him, and that his father has never truly left his side. Moments later, Murugan wakes up. Standing right beside him is the calf, looking at him as if it understands everything. Without hesitation, Murugan wraps his arms around it and holds it tightly. In that moment, Murugan finally understands what his father truly meant. The taste was never just about technique. It came from the heart, from sincerity, and from genuine love for the work itself. With that realization, Murugan rises again by following his father's path. He changes his clothes, prays, and heads back to the stall. Seeing him now, Kayal and Ramarajan are stunned. Murugan feels different, almost as if Sivanesan has returned in his younger days. This time, every movement is calm, steady, and filled with gratitude. When the batter is ready, Murugan serves the idli to Arun. After tasting it, Arun's eyes fill with tears. This time, there is no doubt. The flavor is exactly like Sivanesan's idli, the real one. But the moment does not last long. A luxury car stops in front of the stall and Ashwin steps out. Sensing trouble, Murugan asks Kyle to go home first. Ashwin is shocked, believing Murugan canceled the wedding with his sister just for this rundown stall. But his visit is driven by more than that. From the very beginning, Ashwin has never liked Murugan. Murugan tries to handle the situation calmly, but Ashwin turns aggressive. Murugan keeps holding himself back until Ashwin damages the signboard of his father's stall. At that point, Murugan can no longer stay silent. Ashwin makes a fatal mistake by underestimating him. Soon enough, Ashwin is left helpless on the ground. And his men rush to take him away. After everything settles, regret washes over Murugan. He remembers his father's belief that violence never solves anything. The weight of that truth hits him hard. Not a single villager steps forward to defend him. Meanwhile, Patel, after learning about Ashwin's condition, immediately flies to India. Ashwin is hospitalized in critical condition. Murugan visits the hospital filled with guilt and remorse. He apologizes, knowing well the kind of person Ashwin is, someone who will never stop until his resentment is satisfied. Patel warns Murugan that before Ashwin regains consciousness, it would be safer for him to leave and go as far away as possible. Days pass, and slowly the Idli stall becomes busy again. At the same time, Sammy's shop grows quieter with each passing day. Murugan realizes how distant he has been from the villagers. He begins to reconnect, greeting people and helping anyone who comes by. In the past, he chased money and wealth. Even after achieving it, he learned that it only left him exhausted. True happiness, he now understands, does not come from possessions, but from gratitude and inner peace. All of it comes from the lessons his father left behind. Before Ashwin fully recovers, Patel's family decides to stay in a villa not far from the village. Elsewhere, Sami holds onto his resentment as well. He feels that Murugan has stolen his customers, and even taken Kayal away from him. One day, as Murugan prepares to head home with the calf named Sivanesan, he senses that something is wrong. He sends the calf ahead and immediately contacts Ramarajan, asking him to gather 10 men from the village. Just as he feared, danger arrives. Ashwin, now fully recovered, appears with hatred written all over his face. Murugan tries to warn Ashwin to control himself, but Ashwin does not listen. Murugan is forced to defend himself again, and he nearly knocks Ashwin down for the second time. But in that critical moment, Murugan remembers his father's teaching, that violence never truly solves anything. This time, he chooses to stop. He lowers himself and allows Ashwin to release his anger without fighting back at all. Blinded by rage, Ashwin pulls out a weapon. Before he can go any further, villagers rush to the scene. Ashwin panics and flees, dragging Murugan, who is now unconscious, away with him. Shortly after, Ramarajan and the villagers arrive, only to find that Murugan is gone. From the disturbed grass and broken traces left behind, Ramarajan immediately realizes that something terrible has happened. The news soon reaches Patel. In that moment, Patel understands that everything has gone too far. Ashwin has crossed the line by shooting Murugan. Patel is shaken, unable to believe how cruel his own son has become. That same night, Patel prepares to leave the country as quickly as possible. Not long after, a villager who witnessed the incident from a distance comes forward. He reports seeing a convoy of cars taking Murugan away. Based on this information, Murugan is eventually found in a lake, having been thrown into the water and left to die. He is rushed to the nearest hospital. Soon after, Ramarajan receives news that Meera is at a temple. He goes to meet her immediately. Meera is upset that Ramarajan never returned. Before the situation escalates, Ramarajan persuades her to stop by a house nearby, saying that his family wants to meet her. Meanwhile, news of Murugan's abduction spreads throughout the village. The police arrive and attempt to calm the crowd, but the villagers refuse to leave until they know Murugan's condition. Under pressure from higher authorities, the local police are instructed to describe the incident as a random attack by street criminals. In reality, they know the villagers have seen the Patel family's car taking Murugan away, and the officer himself is fully aware of who is responsible. At the house, Meera begins to feel uneasy when she does not see Ramarajan's wife or children. When she tries to leave, Ramarajan gently stops her and takes her phone. She then realizes that her bodyguards have already been tied up. At the same time, the police confront Patel and inform him that the entire village believes his family is responsible. By then, all exit roads have been blocked by the villagers. They refuse to move until the real culprit is revealed. Not long after, good news finally arrives. Murugan is alive and being treated at the hospital. Kayal stays by his side until he regains consciousness. Soon after, the police and the village head arrive to ask who shot him. The village head urges Murugan not to fear anyone, reminding him that the entire community stands with him. Even in his weakened state, Murugan understands the situation clearly. Instead of accusing anyone, he states that Patel's family is not responsible. His words calm the villagers, and one by one, they begin to leave. A few hours later, after being held hostage, Meera is finally released by Ramarajan. He does this because Murugan was fighting for his life after being shot by Meera's own family. Murugan survives, and he chooses not to reveal the truth. If Murugan had died, Ramarajan would have been torn apart by the enraged villagers. After that, the police arrive and announce that the situation is under control. Patel and his family are allowed to leave because Murugan has clearly stated that they were not responsible for the shooting. The police warned Patel's family not to harm Murugan again, because the entire village now stands firmly on his side. To keep everything quiet, the police are willing to take the risk themselves, as long as they are properly compensated. Not long after, Meera comes to her father with a worried expression. She asks for clarity, wanting to know whether their family really shot Murugan. She does not want to be seen as part of an evil family, especially after she herself was held hostage and nearly killed by Ramarajan. Patel calmly hides the truth, reassuring his daughter that their family is innocent. Meanwhile, Ashwin grows even angrier. He cannot accept that anyone would dare threaten Meera. Seeing his son's rage, Patel begins to wonder what Ashwin plans to do next. He scolds him again, comparing him to Murugan, a man who is willing to risk his life for a rundown stall left by his father. Ashwin, on the other hand, has been given an empire yet has never contributed anything meaningful. Those words ignite his anger. He lashes out, saying that if the company matters more than him, then his father can leave alone while he stays behind. Back in the village, Murugan finally returns home. Only then does he truly understand what his late mother once meant, that life in the village is never lonely because everyone is family. Still, because Murugan and Kayal spend so much time together, villagers begin to gossip about their closeness. Kayal's mother feels embarrassed and scolds her. From that moment, Murugan understands what must be done. If her mother gives her blessing and Kayal agrees, then he is ready to marry her. Hearing this, Kayal smiles with joy. Her mother initially refuses, but on the way home her heart softens and she finally agrees to Murugan's sincere intentions. From then on, Murugan and Kayal no longer hide their relationship. They grow closer, often seen together openly in front of neighbors without any hesitation. But their happiness does not last long. Meera suddenly arrives in the village, wanting to know the truth about the shooting that nearly killed Murugan. For Murugan, that question no longer matters. Meera also brings up their cancelled wedding. Murugan responds calmly, asking whether she would still prioritize appearances and social image if her own father had died, or whether she would have the courage to break off a wedding. No matter what has happened, Murugan still apologizes if everything has caused her pain. Hearing this, Meera finally realizes that Murugan's life no longer belongs in their world. She apologizes and chooses to walk away. On the other side, Ashwin still cannot accept reality. Driven by the same ego, he vows to destroy Murugan. Patel, unable to bear seeing his son suffer, gives in. He knows that fighting someone like Murugan, a man with no wealth, no ambition, and no fear of death, will never be easy. The next day, the wealthy family visits the police, pretending to simply ask whether Murugan's Idli stall stands on legally owned land. The police explain that most stalls and small shops in the village do not have formal permits. With money that speaks louder than words, Ashwin bribes the police to have Murugan's Idli stall demolished, under the excuse that it lacks proper documentation. Meanwhile, Sami goes to Kyle's house with the intention of proposing to her. In his mind, if it does not happen now, it will never happen. But both Kyle and her mother firmly reject him. Her mother makes it clear that she will only marry her daughter to Murugan, because Murugan is not a stranger, he is part of the village itself. Hearing this rejection, Sami leaves deeply hurt, his disappointment turning into anger. After taking the bribe, the police officer begins working quietly behind the scenes. He observes Murugan's Idli stall and arranges the paperwork through office connections, making sure everything can be processed quickly. On the surface, that day appears completely normal, as if nothing unusual is happening. Not long after, the police inform Ashwin that everything is settled. Murugan's stall is safe and turns out to have proper documentation after all. Ashwin feels deceived and furious, believing his money has been wasted. But the police officer turns the tables and threatens him, saying he knows a major secret about the shooting of Murugan. If Ashwin causes any more trouble, he will never be able to leave the village. The officer has his own reasons for doing this. He remembers his childhood when he used to eat idli with his father at Sivanesan's stall. Back then, he dreamed of becoming a police officer. Sivanesan was proud of him and even refused to accept payment, supporting him wholeheartedly. There is no way he could now destroy a place that meant so much in his life. Elsewhere, Ashwin's anger continues to grow. He feels humiliated and begins plotting something cruel. At the same time, Murugan and Kayal are busy preparing for their wedding. In another place, Ashwin suddenly claims he has come to his senses and asks his father to return home immediately. Hearing this, Patel feels relieved, believing his son has finally changed. But at that very moment, Sami arrives at Murugan's house, driven by revenge. The house is empty. As he lingers there, the calf named Sivanesan tries to chase him away. Blinded by rage, Sami nearly kills the animal. Murugan arrives just in time and attacks him, stopping the situation from becoming worse. Elsewhere, Ashwin sees his chance. He goes alone to Murugan's Idli stall with the intention of burning it down. Ramarajan happens to be there and tries to stop him, but Ashwin refuses to listen. The fire spreads quickly. At the same time, Ramarajan sends word that Ashwin has set the stall on fire. But by then, it is already too late. Mira, who had only just found some peace, is threatened again by Ramarajan. She is told that this time she may not leave the village alive because Ashwin has burned down Murugan's stall. Overcome with emotion, Mira confronts Ashwin in fury over what he has done. Hearing this, Patel is shocked to realize that his son has not changed at all. Mira also turns her anger toward her father. She believes their family is truly corrupt, and that Patel has been covering up Ashwin's actions all along, including the shooting of Murugan. Ashwin tries to justify himself, insisting that everything he did was for Mira, but she rejects that excuse. To her, this is no longer about her at all. It is about Ashwin's ego and uncontrolled desire. Mira declares that Ashwin has already lost. He will never defeat Murugan because Murugan's heart is far stronger and more sincere. In a surge of emotion, Mira reaches her breaking point, even daring Ashwin to face the consequences, while Ashwin responds with the same reckless defiance. Seeing all of this, Patel finally loses control. For the first time in his life, he slaps Ashwin in front of everyone. In that moment, he is filled with regret for not having done this long ago. Nearby, Murugan and Kyle stand frozen, staring at the stall that has been reduced to ashes. Overcome with emotion, Kyle urges Murugan to take revenge, but Murugan's eyes stop at the writing on the wall that is still intact. It is his father's message, the belief that violence never solves anything. What burned was only cement walls and a straw roof. All of that can be rebuilt, and right there in the middle of the ruins, the grinding stone still stands strong and untouched. That stone is the true heart of the Idli stall. Murugan chooses to rise again and rebuild from the beginning. To him, the Idli stall is not just a place to eat. It is the embodiment of his parents' love, sacrifice, and lifelong struggle. After some time, the stall is rebuilt and stands once more as it did before. Not long after, a convoy of luxury cars arrives. It is Patel, Ashwin, and Meera. With humility, Patel apologizes and insists that Ashwin do the same. They look at one another, remembering the fire and the damage that was done. Ashwin still carries his pride, but in the end, he gives in and apologizes as well. Before they leave, Murugan invites them to stop by and taste his idli. Meera lightly remarks that Murugan is too kind for forgiving Ashwin so easily, even suggesting that he deserves some form of punishment. Murugan refuses, saying he has already made peace. Patel, however, agrees with the idea. To ease his conscience, he insists that Ashwin face a consequence. In the end, Ashwin is made to grind the batter by hand so he can feel what it means to start from the bottom and work hard. Completely exhausted, Ashwin later thinks that being slapped would have been easier than grinding the batter. Now, Murugan lives peacefully with Kayal. As he sits in front of the stall, sipping coffee, he feels as if his father's spirit is there with him, sharing in that quiet happiness. So the moral of the story is, if you ever think your life is hard, try waking up at 3 a.m. to hand grind idli for 2 hours. You will suddenly miss your problems and your enemies too.